Hello, I'm David Kloiber. I'm the Associate Director for Operations and Outreach, and I'm here to talk to you about frequently asked questions concerning housing. So the first question is, where do I find the housing application? You can find that via the housing website or go to MyUSF and you'll click on My Housing from the MyUSF website, or you can click on the housing portal link found on the housing website. When does the housing application close? The housing application typically will open for the fall between October and November, and it'll close actually during the fall term, and so that's when the fall application will close. For summer, similar start time as fall, and it'll close during the summer term, and for spring-only applications, the spring application would start in September and then would close during the spring term. Can you cancel your application? We always encourage you to check the terms and conditions or the agreement of your housing application just to make sure what are the terms for cancellation. In some instances, you are permitted to cancel your application, but you always want to be aware that there could be a fee associated with canceling your application. So make sure you've read and understand all the terms and conditions of the agreement. Can you choose a single room? Both USF Tampa and USF St. Pete do offer single rooms, and you'll want to look through the inventory on the websites in order to determine where are single rooms located and if a single room is available at the time that you're either being assigned or the time you're selecting a room, then yes, you can select a single room. Are there halls for first-year students only? Well, that's a great question. We don't have halls for first-year students only, but we do have halls that don't permit first-year students. And so for the buildings located in Tampa, that would be Cypress Apartments. If you're interested in Cypress Apartments, it's a great place to live, but not in your first year as a first-year student. If you're a transfer student, you would be able to live in Cypress Apartments in your first academic year at USF. Do I have to live on campus in your first year? You don't have to. That is not a policy here at USF. However, we do encourage you because you will more than likely do better. The research has shown that those who live on campus, even for 1 year, tend to graduate faster or graduate on time, and more importantly, are just overall more successful when they're at the institution. And so we encourage all of our students, probably in your first year, it's the best time to live on campus because it gets you off to a great start, and then you can continue on that road to success in your future years here at USF. How do you choose a roommate? Well, there are a variety of different ways to do so. We do have what's called a roommate group manager, and so once you meet somebody, you can invite them to be a part of a roommate group when you're going through room selection at Tampa. And if you've already made friends here and they're coming to USF, it might be a great opportunity to live together. Now, not all friendships are created in such a way that you can actually live together, and so you do want to be careful about that. However, if you're looking for a roommate, we have the class of groups, and you can reach out to all the people who've joined the class of group and find out who's a good match for you and try to meet them that way. And there are other social media outlets and clubs and organizations here on campus to meet people at and really determine, is this someone I want to live with maybe in the future? When does room selection happen? It really depends on what term you're looking to select a room, but for most of our audience, we're thinking more about the fall and spring terms, and so for fall, room selection typically begins in or around the mid to late February time range and will continue on through the summer and end sometime in midsummer, and then for those who are looking for a spring-only assignment, that typically occurs near the end of the fall term. And those looking for a summer assignment, that time period usually begins sometime in March or April and ends before your summer term begins. What is room selection like? For those who are looking to live in Tampa, Room selection is an online process. You'll actually log into the housing portal where you completed your housing application, and you'll click on a link to assign yourself a room. You'll have an opportunity to look at or to search our current inventory for what's available. You can search on factors like I want a traditional room, a suite style room, an apartment style room. I want a room with a kitchen in it. I want a unit with a private bath or a common bath or a shared bath. I want a room that's a single room, a double room, or a triple room. Those are some of the options that you can search by in criteria. You can view where they are on a map, or you can just view a list of rooms. But before you do room selection, you definitely want to look at what are the options available so you have an idea of what you're looking for. So go to our website and check those options out. Once you find the room that you want, you can select that room. It's going to say, is this what you want? It'll give you some information about the room. Always check how much the room costs because you want to make sure that you can afford the room that you selected. We all want to live in the Taj Mahal, but we all can't afford to buy the Taj Mahal. So you want to make sure that you are picking an option that's economical and within your price range. If I apply to an LLC, am I guaranteed a spot in the LLC? I would say no, but the more qualified you are as an applicant, the better your chances are. And obviously there are some LLCs that may not be right for you. If you're looking to get into the Bulls business community, but you're not a business major, you're definitely not going to get admitted into the Bulls business community because you have to be a business major. If you like the Honors College LLC and you're not in the Honors College, then you would not be able to join the Honors College LLC. So there are some criteria that you have to be aware of. If you satisfy all the criteria and they like the way you completed your application, then certainly you have a good shot at getting into the LLC. I don't discourage anybody from trying to get into an LLC unless you clearly don't meet all the qualifications. However, I would say it's fairly rare that people get denied entrance into an LLC. Should you apply for housing if accepted but haven't made a final decision to attend USF? Well, our advice is apply early, get yourself in line, and select a room. Now, you have until May 1st to accept generally until May 1st anyway, to accept your admissions, or to make your admissions decision. However, we start room selection in March. And so as a new student, if you want to make sure that you have the kind of room you want, then you want to apply early, select the kind of room you want, select who you want to live with if you happen to know people who are coming here, and you still have time to make your decision before there's a financial ramification. But you definitely want to make sure that you make that decision by May 1st because at Tampa and St. Pete, if you have a room assignment after May 1st, then cancellation fees may apply. And so you want to make sure that you make that decision in a timely fashion if you haven't made a decision yet to attend USF. Now, if you ever have more questions, feel free to go to our websites. The web links are posted right there, usfsp.edu/housing for the St. Petersburg location and usf.edu/housing for Tampa. And if you can't find the information there, reach out to either campus through the Contact Us information, and we'll be glad to assist you in making any determination about any questions you have and give you all the information you're looking for. And I can't say enough about how wonderful it is to live on campus at USF, and go Bulls.